Chosen ones, what I'm about to share with you today may awaken something deep within you. If you're watching this right now, it's no accident. God has led you here for a reason. There's something powerful you need to understand, something that has been part of you since the very beginning. Take a moment to think back to your childhood. There's a memory, maybe small, maybe something you never thought twice about, that holds more meaning than you realize. That moment was not random. It was a sign, a glimpse into your true purpose. Even if you don't fully remember it, that experience was proof that you were chosen from the start. It was a divine signal that your path had already begun. You are not like everyone else, and today, you're going to uncover the deeper truth about who you are and why you've always felt different. So, before we go any further, I want you to do 3 things. 1. Like this video. It helps spread this message to those who need to hear it. 2. Subscribe. Help us reach 10,000 chosen ones. 3. Comment the number 11. This number carries a powerful energy that amplifies the impact of this message. If you're truly one of the chosen, you'll stay with me until the end. Because deep down, your spirit already knows this message is for you. Now, let's dive in. Have you ever noticed that certain moments in your life felt destined, like they were meant to happen? What if those moments were more than just coincidences? What if, from the very beginning, you were chosen for something greater than you could ever imagine? Life has a way of weaving together our experiences into something bigger than we can see in the moment. And often, the key to understanding our purpose lies in the memories of our childhood. Since the earliest days of your life, the signs have been there. They may have looked like childhood struggles, moments of deep insight, or an unusual sensitivity to the world around you. At the time, they may have seemed like nothing. But now, looking back, you can see the truth. Nothing was accidental. The challenges you faced, the people who confided in you, the dreams that felt like more than just imagination, they were all part of a divine blueprint designed just for you. The truth is, you were chosen, not by chance, but by God's design. You have been prepared for something extraordinary, something only you can fulfill. And as we explore these signs together, you'll begin to see how your childhood experiences were laying the foundation for your divine purpose. So embrace this truth. You are not just someone going through life day by day. You are a chosen vessel, marked for greatness from the very beginning. Recognizing the signs of your greater purpose. Think back to a defining moment from your childhood, something that stands out even now. Maybe it was a challenge, a struggle, or an experience that made you feel different from those around you. At the time, it might have felt like just another tough moment, but looking back, you can see it was something more. It was one of the earliest signs that you were being prepared for something greater. These moments weren't random. They were proof that God was at work in your life from the very beginning, shaping you for the purpose you were meant to fulfill. Perhaps you grew up feeling out of place, misunderstood, or alone. Yet, despite the difficulties, you discovered a strength inside you that others didn't seem to have. Maybe you stood up for someone who couldn't stand up for themselves. Maybe you faced fears that most people never had to. These weren't coincidences. They were God's way of refining your resilience and character. He was preparing you for something bigger. Your childhood wasn't meant to be ordinary, and neither is your life. The challenges you faced built within you the strength, compassion, and wisdom you would one day need. Looking back now, you can see those experiences for what they truly were. Confirmation that you were chosen for a purpose long before you ever realized it. The signs of your calling have been there all along, hidden in the ordinary moments of your past. As a child, you may have been drawn to certain people or situations in ways that felt beyond your control. Maybe you naturally comforted those in pain, or you felt a deep pull to help others, even when you were too young to fully understand why. These weren't just personality traits. They were glimpses of the greater plan God had for you. Think about the times you felt an overwhelming sense of compassion or sensitivity toward others. Maybe you stayed up at night worrying about a friend, or felt a deep sadness for the struggles of the world. These weren't just emotions. They were divine nudges. God was planting seeds of empathy, love, and understanding within you, shaping you to make a difference in the lives of others. When you reflect on these moments, you can begin to see how God was working through them, guiding you toward your true calling. Every small moment was part of a bigger design, one meant to prepare you for the impact you were always destined to make. You were chosen for a purpose. In Jeremiah 1:5, God declares, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you before you were born. I set you apart." This verse isn't just comforting. It's a powerful reminder of your divine purpose. Long before you took your first breath, God had already designed a plan for your life, a plan filled with meaning, significance, and a unique calling that only you can fulfill. You weren't born by accident. You were chosen. Your life isn't a random series of events. It's a carefully woven story, crafted by the Creator Himself, a calling that's been there all along. The idea of being chosen isn't exclusive to Jeremiah. Throughout the Bible, we see God's intentionality in the lives of His people. From Moses' mission to Jesus' journey, nothing was wasted. Every moment, every experience had a purpose. The same is true for you. God called you before you were even born, setting you apart for something extraordinary. If your life has taken unexpected turns, don't mistake them for detours. They're part of the roadmap God laid out for you. Trust the process. His plan for you is greater than anything you can imagine, even if you don't fully see it yet. Your struggles have shaped you. Maybe your childhood was tougher than most. Maybe you had to grow up faster, or you faced challenges that felt unfair. But those struggles weren't meant to break you. They were meant to build you. Every hardship, whether personal, family-related, or academic, was shaping you for something greater. There's a saying, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." But for those chosen by God, challenges do more than just strengthen. They refine. They shape your character, deepen your faith, and prepare you for the responsibilities ahead. You may have felt alone in those moments, but God was there, using every experience to mold you into who you were always meant to be. Your challenges are not setbacks, they're setups. God allows challenges in the lives of His chosen ones because He knows they have the strength to overcome them. He never gives you more than you can bear. Every trial is an opportunity to grow and align more closely with His purpose for your life. Your obstacles weren't meant to defeat you. They were meant to elevate you. The hardest battles often lead to the greatest breakthroughs. Trust that the struggles you've faced are not in vain. They are shaping you for something beyond what you can see right now. You were chosen. You have a purpose, and your journey is just beginning. From a young age, God often uses life's challenges to teach us endurance, patience, and perseverance. When you reflect on the struggles of your childhood, remember that they weren't meaningless. They were part of God's plan to strengthen you for the path He designed for you. Think about the difficulties you faced growing up. Perhaps rejection, failure, or disappointment. At the time, they may have felt painful and unfair, but those experiences were shaping you, teaching you how to stand firm in the face of adversity. Through them, you learned that failure isn't the end. It's simply a stepping stone on your journey. With every setback, God was building resilience within you. God doesn't waste our pain. Those childhood struggles may have seemed overwhelming, but they were laying the foundation for your future. The strength you developed during those times will serve you in ways you can't yet imagine. Trust that God is using your past to prepare you for something greater. As a child, you may have had dreams that felt more vivid and meaningful than most. These weren't just ordinary dreams. They were divine messages, guiding you toward your purpose. Throughout history, God has spoken to His people through dreams, offering glimpses of what's to come. If you've had dreams that felt too real to ignore, they may have been God's way of revealing your divine calling. Maybe you dreamed of doing something significant, or you had recurring dreams about places, people, or events that later came to pass. These weren't mere coincidences. They were signs of the future God had planned for you. Just as He spoke to prophets and leaders in the Bible through dreams, He is speaking to you, leading you toward your destiny. Don't dismiss these dreams. They are meant to guide, inspire, and affirm you along your journey. Even if they don't make sense at first, trust that in time their meaning will become clear. Consider Joseph in the Bible. His prophetic dreams as a child foretold his future greatness. Though others doubted him, his dreams were part of God's plan. In the same way, your dreams may not always be understood by those around you, but they are evidence that God is preparing you for something bigger. Lean into these moments. Trust that God is speaking to you, equipping you, and leading you toward the incredible future He has in store. Recognizing your divine calling. God uses visions to guide you along the path He has prepared for you. If you've ever had dreams that felt especially meaningful, don't dismiss them. Take time to reflect on their significance and how they align with the desires and purpose placed in your heart. Trust that God is speaking to you through these dreams, gently leading you toward your divine destiny. Do you have a unique ability to connect with animals or children in a way that others don't? Maybe animals are naturally drawn to you, or perhaps children, especially those who are struggling. Seek your comfort in times of distress. This isn't just a coincidence. It's a sign of a greater purpose. You have been gifted with a calling to nurture, protect, and care for the vulnerable. Your ability to offer comfort is a reflection of God's love flowing through you, drawing others toward your compassionate heart. Consider the life of Saint Francis of Assisi, who had an extraordinary connection with animals and an unwavering love for all of God's creation. His deep compassion became a defining part of his ministry. Similarly, your natural ability to bring peace and comfort is a divine appointment, preparing you for a life of service. These connections you share, whether with animals, children, or those in need, are not random. They are part of God's plan. He has instilled in you a spirit of love and compassion, and these relationships are a glimpse of the greater purpose He has for your life. Embrace this gift, for it is a sign of your higher calling. Some people naturally bring peace wherever they go. Perhaps you have the ability to calm a room with just your presence, a kind word, or a simple touch. This is no accident. It is evidence of God's spirit of peace working through you. If people often turn to you in their moments of struggle, it's a sign that you were chosen to bring healing to the brokenhearted. Throughout Scripture, we see that God's peace is a force greater than human understanding, one that heals even the deepest wounds. As someone entrusted with this gift, you are a vessel of that peace, bringing restoration and hope to those around you. You may not always see the impact you have, but your presence alone can change lives. The spirit of comfort within you is one of the greatest gifts God can give, and it is proof that you have been chosen for a special mission, to bring healing, peace, and love to a world in need. Have you always had a strong sensitivity to truth and dishonesty? Perhaps, even as a child, You could sense when someone was being deceitful, or you had an unwavering inner conviction of right and wrong. This isn't just a personality trait. It's a divine calling. God has placed within you a deep sense of integrity, preparing you to stand firm in His truth, no matter what challenges arise. Embrace the path God is revealing to you. Your gifts, whether they be compassion, peace, or discernment, are not random. They are part of a greater purpose. Trust in His plan and know that He is guiding you toward the life you were meant to live. The gift of discernment, your calling to lead with truth. The gift of discernment allows you to navigate life with clarity, making choices that align with God's will. It is a sign that you have been called to leadership, to stand for truth and justice in a world that often compromises both. Whether in your personal life or on a broader scale, your ability to recognize falsehood and uphold righteousness is an invaluable strength in fulfilling your purpose. If dishonesty or injustice has ever deeply unsettled you, understand that this sensitivity is no accident. God has given you this gift so that you may guide others toward truth, speak when others remain silent, and be a beacon of light in dark places. Your unshakable commitment to integrity is not a burden. It is one of the clearest signs of your divine calling. While the world's standards may shift, your inner compass remains steadfast. Many are swayed by popular opinion or the pressures of the moment, but you have an innate understanding of what is right and just. This unwavering commitment to truth is a hallmark of those chosen by God. Throughout history, the most impactful leaders, people like Martin Luther King Jr. and Mother Teresa, changed the world because they refused to compromise their convictions. Likewise, your dedication to truth is not a weakness. It is a source of strength. It equips you to stand firm in the face of adversity and lead others toward God's righteous path. Trust that this deep-rooted sense of truth is a gift from God, one that will guide you through life's challenges and help you fulfill the purpose He has set for you. Even when standing alone feels difficult, remember that your devotion to truth will always illuminate the right path. From an early age, people may have placed their trust in you. Parents, teachers, and friends likely saw your reliability and looked to you to take charge, complete tasks, and ensure things were done well. This sense of responsibility was not accidental. It was part of God's preparation for your leadership. The trust others placed in you reflected the qualities you were developing, qualities essential for fulfilling your higher calling. If you've ever felt a responsibility beyond your years, know that it was because God was equipping you for leadership. The ability to lead, organize, and inspire is woven into your divine purpose, and as you continue on your path, it will become even clearer. Leadership is not just about authority. It is about service. It is about making decisions that impact lives, shaping the future, and standing firm when it matters most. Even if you didn't recognize it at the time, God has been preparing you for this calling since childhood. Embrace it with confidence, knowing that He has equipped you for the road ahead. You were made for more. Have you ever found yourself in situations where you naturally stepped into a leadership role? Maybe you were trusted with important tasks, or you instinctively took the lead when no one else would. These moments weren't random. They were part of God's way of preparing you for a life of service and leadership. True leadership isn't about power. It's about influence. It's about making choices that align with God's will and using your influence to lift others up, helping them reach their full potential. Every responsibility you've carried in life has been a stepping stone, shaping you for something greater in God's kingdom. If leadership has come naturally to you, even from a young age, it's because God has chosen you for something extraordinary. Embrace this calling with confidence, knowing that He has equipped you for every step of the journey. It's easy to question your purpose, especially when the path ahead seems uncertain. But remember this: you are chosen. God has been preparing you for greatness since the very beginning. Every experience, good or bad, has played a role in His plan for your life. So walk boldly in your calling, trusting that God is leading you. The journey won't always be easy, but it will always be meaningful. Trust in His plan, knowing that He is with you every step of the way. The road may be long, but the reward is beyond anything you can imagine. Keep moving forward in faith and watch as His purpose for your life unfolds, a purpose greater than you imagine. Have you ever stopped to wonder why you're here? Why you've faced challenges that at the time seemed overwhelming, but now, in hindsight, make perfect sense? The truth is, you were created for a purpose. Every moment of your life has been woven into a divine design, carefully crafted by a loving Creator from your very first breath. God has had a plan for you, a plan far greater than anything you could dream up on your own. Nothing in your life has been random. Every twist, turn, setback, and victory has been leading you closer to fulfilling that purpose. The difficult moments weren't meant to break you. They were meant to refine you, to build your character, and strengthen your faith. The joys, the struggles, the friendships, and even the heartbreaks, each one was a brushstroke on the canvas of your life, creating a masterpiece that reflects God's glory. In the chaos of everyday life, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture, but take a moment to pause and reflect. When you look back, can you see the hand of God guiding you? Have you noticed how all the seemingly random moments connect, forming a beautiful story? That's the divine blueprint at work, the unmistakable fingerprint of God on your life, reminding you that you are here for something greater than you've ever imagined. Step into that purpose with confidence. You are not here by accident. You were created with intention, designed for impact, and called to something extraordinary. Your life has purpose. Every step is part of God's plan. Your life is not a mistake, nor is it without meaning. From the very beginning, you have been part of God's divine plan. Every step of your journey, both the victories and the struggles, is shaping you for your calling. You were created for a purpose, and as you align yourself with God's will, you'll begin to see His plan unfold in ways beyond your imagination. Have you ever wondered why you faced certain struggles? The pain, the obstacles, the moments of hardship. They may have seemed overwhelming at the time, but now you can see they were part of something greater. We often view struggles as setbacks, but in reality, they are some of God's most powerful tools. Every challenge you've encountered has been preparing you, building resilience, wisdom, and strength for the road ahead. God doesn't allow difficulties in our lives to break us. He allows them to shape us. Think about how a blacksmith molds iron, using fire and pressure to refine it into something strong and purposeful. In the same way, our struggles refine our character, preparing us for the roles God has set before us. Without challenges, we wouldn't develop the endurance and perseverance necessary to lead, inspire, and serve others in the ways God intends. Every hardship you've endured has been a lesson, a chapter in your story that has shaped you into the person you are today. Whether it was a personal battle, a family challenge, or an emotional hardship, each experience has given you wisdom and courage. The very things that once felt like breaking points are now the moments that made you stronger, more compassionate, and more prepared to walk in your divine calling. As you face new challenges, remember, they are not roadblocks, but opportunities for growth. Embrace them with faith, knowing that God never wastes a single experience. Every struggle has been part of your preparation for something greater. How many times have you had a dream that lingered long after you woke up? A dream so vivid, so powerful, that it felt like more than just your imagination. These moments are not random. They may be God's way of speaking to you, giving you insight, direction, and glimpses of the future He is leading you toward. If you've ever had a dream that felt too real to ignore, know that it could be part of your divine calling. Pay attention. God speaks in many ways, and He may be revealing His plan to you even as you sleep. Does God still speak through dreams? In biblical times, God often spoke to His people through dreams. Figures like Joseph, Daniel, and Solomon received divine messages that shaped their purpose and mission. And while centuries have passed, God still uses dreams today to guide, inspire, and reveal His plans for our lives. Have you ever woken up from a dream feeling deeply moved, or as if something significant had been revealed to you? That may not be a coincidence. It could be God speaking to you, offering wisdom, direction, or even confirmation about your future. Prophetic dreams bring clarity and peace, especially in times of uncertainty. When facing a major decision or a turning point in life, God may use a dream to show you the way forward. These dreams often come with a deep sense of knowing, an inner assurance that you're on the right path. When you wake up, you might find that your perspective has shifted, or a renewed sense of purpose has ignited within you. Don't dismiss your dreams as random thoughts or meaningless images. Take them seriously, reflect on them, and seek God's guidance in understanding their meaning. He speaks to the heart, and through dreams, He often reveals important truths about your calling and the destiny He has prepared for you. Be open to receiving these messages and trust that He is leading you every step of the way. Your gifts have a purpose. Each of us is born with unique gifts, talents, and abilities, things that set us apart and make us who we are. These gifts are not accidental. They are part of God's divine plan for your life. Whether it's a talent for music, a natural ability to lead, a compassionate heart, or a sharp intellect, your skills were intentionally placed within you for a purpose. Have you ever thought about your gifts as more than just hobbies or personal interests? Maybe you've always had a passion for helping others, or you see the world from a unique perspective. These qualities were designed by God, not just for your benefit, but to serve others and contribute to His kingdom. Think about the leaders, artists, and innovators who have shaped history. They didn't just stumble into their roles. They used their God-given abilities to make a meaningful impact. The same is true for you. The gifts you have are not meant to be hidden or kept to yourself. They were given to you so that you could step into your calling with confidence, knowing that God has already equipped you for success. So embrace your talents, lean into the unique qualities that make you who you are, and remember, when you use your gifts for a greater purpose, you walk in the destiny God has prepared for you. Discovering your divine gifts and trusting God's timing. To truly recognize the gifts God has placed within you, take time to reflect on what excites you, what comes naturally, and what others often seek your help with. These are strong indicators of your unique strengths. Embrace them with confidence, knowing that God has called you to use your gifts to serve others and make a meaningful impact in the world. In today's fast-paced culture of instant gratification, it can be challenging to trust the process of life. We crave quick answers, immediate results, and overnight success. But God's plan doesn't always unfold on our timeline. Instead, His purpose for you develops over time. just like a seed planted in the ground, which must grow and mature before it fully blossoms. Scripture reminds us of the importance of patience and trusting in God's timing. Galatians 6:9 encourages us, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." Your journey may not move as quickly as you'd like, but every step, every challenge, every season of waiting is part of God's divine plan. Even when you don't see immediate results, trust that He's working behind the scenes. What may seem like a delay is often just preparation for something greater. Consider David's story. He was anointed as king while still a young man, yet he spent years in the wilderness before stepping into his destiny. During that time, he learned valuable lessons in leadership, humility, and trust in God. The waiting wasn't easy, but it was necessary for his growth. In the same way, the detours and delays in your life aren't setbacks. They're part of the process that is shaping you for the purpose God has for you. Embrace this season of waiting with faith. Trust that even when it seems like nothing is happening, God is at work in you and through you. The process is preparing and refining you so that when the time is right, you'll be ready to step into the fullness of His plan. Have you ever felt a stirring deep in your heart? A pull you couldn't quite explain, but knew you had to follow? That feeling may be more than just a passing thought. It could be a divine calling. Often, God invites us into a greater purpose, one that aligns with His will for our lives. Sometimes, this call comes as a quiet whisper, other times as a sudden burst of inspiration. But when you recognize it, everything changes. You begin to see that your life has a deeper meaning, that you were created for something greater than yourself. Some people experience God's call in a clear, unmistakable way. They just know what they're meant to do. For others, it may come as a gentle nudge, a series of signs pointing them in a certain direction. No matter how it arrives, God's call is a powerful force, one that invites you to step out of the ordinary and into something extraordinary. It requires faith, trust, and a willingness to embrace the unknown. But when you say yes to His plan, your life takes on a whole new sense of purpose. You no longer feel like you're just going through the motions. Instead, you start living with intention, knowing you're part of something far bigger than yourself. But this call isn't just about personal success. It's about fulfilling God's plan for the world. He has given you unique gifts, talents, and experiences, and He wants to use them in ways you may not yet fully understand. That's why it's so important to listen. Be still, pay attention, and trust that when the time is right, He will make His direction clear. Life moves in seasons. Times of growth, times of waiting, times of harvest, and times of pruning. Just as the earth goes through cycles of change, so do we. These seasons aren't random. They are part of God's divine rhythm, shaping us for our purpose. In Ecclesiastes 3, we're reminded that to everything there is a season. Some seasons feel like full bloom. Opportunities flow, doors open, and life is vibrant. Other seasons feel like winter, silent, challenging, or uncertain. But every season has a purpose. The waiting seasons teach patience. The difficult seasons build endurance. The fruitful seasons teach gratitude. No matter where you are right now, trust that God is working. He is preparing you, refining you, and leading you towards something greater than you could have imagined. Embrace the journey with faith, knowing that every step, even the hard ones, are part of His perfect plan. Think about how a tiny seed grows into a mighty tree. It begins buried in the darkness of the soil, hidden and unnoticed. But in time, it pushes through the earth, reaching for the light, growing stronger with each passing day. In the same way, God is always at work behind the scenes, using every season of your life to prepare you for what's next. Some seasons may feel tough, even painful, but each one has a purpose in shaping you. So embrace every stage of your journey, trusting that God's timing is perfect. He is using every experience, both the struggles and the victories, to mold you into the person He created you to be. Your life is a story He is writing, and every chapter, no matter how challenging or joyful, is part of something beautiful.